Hello, Praise family, and welcome to the last week of 40 Days of Devotion. This week we're focusing on a rhythm that really should be a constant, steady beat, and that is the rhythm of worship. And we say that worship is a response to who God is and what He has done. When we say who God is, we're talking about His attributes, His character. When we say what He has done, we're talking about the work on the cross, the redemptive work that He did for you and me. But most of the time, if we're honest, we associate the word worship with some type of music, like a musical genre. Like we have our worship playlist, we have our workout playlist, we have our rock playlist. It's way more than music. It's way more than when the guitar gets strummed on stage. Aren't you glad that we don't have to wait to worship until the music starts? We can worship all of our life. And worship is anything that we do in response to who God is and what He has done. Another way of saying that is anything that you do that is influenced by God can become worship. When you have a conversation with someone that is influenced by God, you're worshiping God. When you do your work because of who God is, you're worshiping God. When you reach out to somebody else in care and compassion, you're worshiping God. The great reformer Martin Luther said, "A dairymaid can milk cows to the glory of God." Paul said it like this in Romans 12:1. He said, "I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God." I learned it in another translation that says, "In view of God's mercy, present your bodies as a living sacrifice." Do you hear what he's saying? In view of God's mercy, because of what God has done for you, I want you now to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. Eugene Peterson paraphrased that in the Message, and he said, "Take your everyday, ordinary life. You're sleeping, you're eating, you're going to work, you're walking around life. Place it before God as an offering." And that is exactly what Nicholas Herman learned to do. Nicholas is remembered today because to him, everything that he did became an act of worship. Nicholas was born in 1611 in France to a poor peasant family. In his teens, he joined the army because they guaranteed him a few meals, guaranteed him a modest income. After being injured, he left the army and he began to wait tables. But then his spiritual life began to develop and mature, and he eventually joined a monastery where he assumed the name Brother Lawrence of the Resurrection, in which maybe you've heard of the name Brother Lawrence. And most of his years in the monastery, Brother Lawrence served as a cook in the kitchen. And that is the context in which he learned how everything that he did could become worship, even serving others, even cooking meals, even cleaning dishes. In fact, after he died, they took his writings and his conversations and they compiled it and made a book that is still with us today called The Practice of the Presence of God. And Brother Lawrence came to believe that his worship not only included his personal devotion or his time in church, but it also included his time in the kitchen, his errands, and the way that he listened to other people. Here's some of his quotes. "The time of business does not with me differ from the time of prayer. And the noise and clatter of the kitchen with several persons are at the same time calling for different things. I still possess God as a great tranquility, as if I were upon my knees at the Blessed Sacrament." He goes on to say, "And so it is in the kitchen, a place in which I have a great natural aversion. I have accustomed myself to doing everything for the love of God." He learned over the period of his lifetime, he grew, he developed to learn that everything that he did could be offered as an act of worship when he did it unto God. That's what Colossians 3:23 says. "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord, not for men." Whatever you do. So whatever you find yourself doing, you can do and you can work towards doing as a way of a worship to God. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, "Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might." But not for your benefit or for your promotion. But as we grow in our relationship with God, we can have such an affinity and love and appreciation for Him that even how we have conversations, we do our errands, we cook our meals, We do small or big tasks. We can do it all for the glory of God. Well, it's time now to talk about this in our small group. I hope that you guys will encourage each other and push each other along.